My wife is hiding a criminal in our home. These words still echo inside my mind like a nightmare I cannot wake up from. If someone had told me that my own home, the place where I felt safest, would one day turn into a place of fear, secrets, and hidden danger, I would have laughed and called it impossible. Because I believed in my marriage. I believed in my wife. And most importantly, I believed that love could protect me from everything. But I was wrong. My name doesn't matter. What matters is what I went through, and how a single secret destroyed the peace of my life forever. It started like any normal day. I came home from work tired but happy, thinking about my wife, thinking about dinner, thinking about the small joys that make life feel complete. She always greeted me with a smile. That smile used to be my comfort, my peace. But that day, her smile felt different. Forced. Nervous. Like she was hiding something behind her eyes. At first, I ignored it. I told myself maybe she was tired. Maybe she had a stressful day. But something inside me felt uneasy. I don't know how to explain it, but the air in the house felt different. Heavy. Silent. Almost like the house itself was holding its breath. That night, I noticed the first strange thing. A pair of shoes near the back door, shoes that didn't belong to me. I remember staring at them for a moment too long, trying to convince myself I was overthinking. But deep inside, a question was born. Who else has been in my home? Later that evening, I heard my wife locking the basement door. That was strange because we never locked it before. When I asked her about it, she smiled too quickly and said, "Just keeping things organized." But her voice shook. And that was the first crack in my peace. Days passed, and the feeling only grew stronger. I started noticing small things that didn't make sense. Extra food being bought. Late night whispers when she thought I was asleep. Her phone always face down. Always locked. Always hidden. It wasn't just secrecy anymore. It was fear. One night, everything changed. I woke up thirsty around 2 a.m. The house was completely silent, except for something unusual, a faint sound coming from below. The basement. At first, I ignored it. But then I heard it again. A voice. A man's voice. My body froze instantly. I felt my heartbeat rise in my chest like it was trying to escape. I slowly got out of bed, every step heavier than the last. The wooden floor creaked under my feet, but I didn't care anymore. Because I needed to know the truth. As I reached the basement door, I heard my wife's voice too. Soft. Low. Nervous. She was talking to someone. A stranger. In my house. My hand trembled as I placed it on the door handle. For a moment, I stopped breathing. I didn't want to open it. I didn't want to know. But fear and curiosity pushed me forward. I slowly opened the door. The basement light was on. And what I saw changed everything. A man sitting on the floor, injured, bruised, exhausted. His face showed pain, like he had survived something terrible. And standing near him, was my wife. Protecting him. Hiding him. Keeping him inside our home like a secret the world was never supposed to know. For a few seconds, nobody spoke. The silence was unbearable. It felt like time itself had stopped. Then my wife turned toward me. And I will never forget the expression on her face. Fear, guilt, and something else, relief. I can explain, she said immediately. But how do you explain something like this? How do you explain a stranger living in your basement without your knowledge? She stepped forward, her voice shaking as she tried to justify everything. She said she found him outside a few days ago, injured and helpless. She said he was being chased by dangerous people. He begged her for help. And she couldn't ignore him. She thought it would be temporary. Just one night. Then two. Then suddenly, it became something she couldn't control anymore. Because she was scared to tell me. Scared I would say no. Scared I would misunderstand. Scared I would force him out. I stood there listening, but my mind was screaming. Because none of this felt right. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound in the house felt louder than before. Every shadow felt suspicious. I started questioning everything, even her. The woman I trusted the most. The woman I loved. The woman who now felt like a stranger. The next day, I decided I needed answers beyond her story. I started watching carefully. And that's when I noticed something disturbing. The man in the basement wasn't just injured, he was also observing me. Watching my movements. Listening too carefully. And sometimes, smiling in a way that didn't feel safe. One night, I saw something fall from his pocket while he thought no one was looking. A small metallic object. Not something ordinary. Something that made my stomach drop instantly. That was the moment my fear turned into suspicion. Who is this man really? My wife still insisted he was harmless. She defended him more than she defended the truth she had hidden from me. And that hurt more than anything. Days passed like that, heavy, tense, and silent. Until one night, everything collapsed again. I came home earlier than usual. The house was too quiet. Too still. I walked slowly toward the basement. The door was open. Empty. My heart stopped. I rushed inside and saw my wife standing there alone, holding a note. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were empty. And she whispered, "He left." The man was gone. The note simply said thank you, and that he didn't want to bring danger into our lives anymore. But even though he was gone, the damage remained. That night, my wife cried like I had never seen before. She said she only wanted to help someone. She never meant to break my trust. And I believe her. But intentions don't erase consequences. I stood there torn between anger and understanding. Because I realized something painful. Sometimes love doesn't break because of betrayal, sometimes it breaks because of hidden truths. Now, every time I look at her, I don't just see my wife. I see the moment everything changed. And I see the truth that changed me forever. Love is not destroyed by strangers. It is destroyed by silence. By fear. By the things we choose not to say. And that is the real story of what happened in my home. A story where a hidden secret didn't just bring danger, it changed love itself forever.